Prabhu Tava Bada Yuge Nivedan. Prabhu Tava Bada Yuge Nivedan. Prabhu Tava Bada Yuge Nivedan. आशा ममा तुम्हारा चढ़ाने ये मात्र आशा ममा तुम्हारा चढ़ाने आओ तुकी भक्ति Prabhu Tava, Bada Yuge, Nivedan. Prabhu Tava, Bada Yuge, Nivedan. Prabhu Tava, Bada Yuge, Nivedan.
Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisance. Salve Shri Prabhupada. Om Jnana-timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Bhupa Padamayyam Dadati Supadantikam Vanchakalpatarubhyasya Kripasindubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasari Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Mukham Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yat Kripatam Ham Bante Shri Gurum Dinataranam. Hare Krishna. So I hope everyone is doing well. In a small break. Second. Yeah, I hope all of you had a fantastic Ram Navami festival. Yeah, here in Chicago, His Holiness Srila Rampal Maharaj is here. So I had the fortune of his association a few times. So Maharaj was covering Maharaj was switching between Narasingha, Lila, Prahlad's prayers, and Ramayana. So it was wonderful. Okay, so we will continue. I was thinking what to do. So as far as Chaitanya Lila is concerned, we began on Gaura Purnima, discussing Chaitanya Lila. From Chaitanya Mangala, we discussed about the Lord's appearance, internal and external reasons of his appearance. In detail, we discussed that. Then we switched to Mahaprabhu's sannyas pastimes, leading up to the sannyas, then taking of the sannyas, and then traveling from Katwa to Shantipur. And then in Chaitanya Mangala, where we stop, so Mahaprabhu has met with his devotees again in Shantipur. He's pacified them, and he's ready to leave for Jagannath Puri Nilachala. And then, of course, we were also reading Caitanya Bhagavat, some sections from Caitanya Bhagavat, especially pertaining to the sannyas, taking of sannyas and traveling to Shantipur, etc. So we will finish that. I think I'd like to finish that section, traveling to Nilachala, and then we will begin something else. So before that, so today we heard this beautiful bhajan, one of my favorite bhajans, Bhaktivinoda Thakur from Gitavali. Bhaktivinoda Thakur has written hundreds of bhajans. So this is, as it says, Namashtakam. So Namashtakam song 4 or something here, I think. Sikshashtakam. Yeah, so as we understand from Srila Prabhupada, these are Charya's songs, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Narottam Das Thakur, Vasudev Ghosh, etc. All these great Govinda Ghosh. They are based on Shastra. They are based on the teachings of Mahaprabhu, especially in the age of Kali, where people are not so intelligent and not so inclined to read philosophy and all that. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur, especially being very merciful, he composed hundreds of bhajans, and he essentially conveyed the entire philosophy of this Bhagavad Dharma through the songs. He wrote many books, Gitavali, Sharanagati, etc., etc. Kalyana Kalpataru. There is a whole book, Bhaktivinoda Thakur songs, a thick book, maybe a couple of 100 pages. You can get a copy. I highly recommend it. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur especially wrote these songs. Simple people, even illiterate people who may not even read and write, but just by hearing the songs, by remembering the songs, they can understand the philosophy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So we are in a similar category. And as we understand from these Vaishnava songs, prayers, a very, very important aspect, is one of the 9 processes of devotional service, Vandanam. In fact, Srimad Bhagavatam, almost 60 to 75% of the verses are prayers. But of course, then the next question is what to pray, how to pray, what is the mood, what should we ask, what should we not ask, etc. So these acharyas are simply teaching us all that through these bhajans. They're wonderful, they're fun to sing. It's a great preaching tool we have, actually. We have so many things. We have scriptures, we have the bhajans. We can even present the entire philosophy through these bhajans. So we'll read the translation. Prabhu Tava Pada Yuge Mora Nivedana. So Prabhu means the Supreme Lord. He is petitioning, Bhaktivinoda Thakur here is petitioning a prayer at the lotus feet of the Lord. Prabhu Tava Pada Yuge. Your lotus feet, 2 feet, Yuge means 2. Yugal Rupa. I submit these prayers at your 2 lotus feet. What does he say? nahi mangi deha sukha vidya dhana jan. Sikshashtakam song 4. I think Bhaktivinoda Thakur has written songs, and each of the songs, verses of the Sikshashtakam. What is Sikshashtakam verse 4? Na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim, kavitam va jagadish khamaye. Mama janmani janmanishvare bhavatat bhakti rahe tuki tvai. Same thing. So he's saying, Mahaprabhu is saying, na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim. What does he doesn't want? What does he want? Mama janmani janmanishvare bhavatat bhakti rahe tuki tvai. I just want pure devotional service unto you, life after life. So same thing, same mood. Nahi mangi deha sukha vidya dhana jan. I don't want bodily happiness, PhD degrees, knowledge, education, dhana, wealth, and followers. So Sundarim, Deha Sukha comes already, right? In Sundarim, one can say that's the highest. Prabhupada says that the highest attraction in this material world is the attraction for the opposite gender, which is the root of Deha Sukha in one sense. Nahi mangi Deha Sukha Vidya Dhana Chan. Nahi mangi Swarga Ara Moksha Nahi mangi. I don't want heavenly planets, nor do I want liberation. Na kori prarthana kono vibhuti ralagi. I don't want any perfections, mystic perfections. I don't want heavenly planets. I don't want liberation. I don't want mystic perfections. I don't want mystic opulences. Okay, perfect so far. Then what? And then his mood. I just want Nija karma guna doshe je janma paye. So because of my birth, my prior births and my faults and my activities and my modes of nature, whatever may be the situation that I'm born in, je janma paye. Janme janme jeno tava nama guna gaye. So I just want to sing your glories. I'm not thinking, oh, I got a bad deal this lifetime, let me get an upgrade. And then I'll like we say, we'll practice Krishna consciousness later, next life. Let's get some things going in this lifetime or in the next 5 years, 10 years. Then we'll bring our attention to the holy name. So we put it off later. But Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying, forget that program. Nija karma guna doshe je janma paye. Whatever I've done in my past, and because of that, whatever is my situation, circumstance, that's all right. I just want to chant your holy names and glorify your holy names. Text 3. Now he's saying, what does he want? Ei matra asha mama tomara charane. This is my only desire. Ei matra asha mama tomara charane. Ahetuki bhakti hriday jage anukshane. That means this pure devotional service, jage anukshane, means as every moment passes, this pure, unalloyed devotional service made arise in my heart. This is my only desire at your lotus feet. And it's a beautiful, sobering bhajan, early morning, sort of a melancholic bhajan, not excitement and all that. So there are different moods, different bhajans, as you see. They have different moods. They evoke different emotions and feelings. So, E Matra Asha Mama Tomara Charan, and especially when Bada Hari Prabhu is singing, it's like nothing like it. E Matra Asha Mama Tomara Charane, Ahetuki Bhakti Hriday Jage Anukshane. As every moment passes, this pure devotional service may arise, may increase moment by moment. And it is connected to the next verse. And Vishaya J Priti Ebe Achay Umar, whatever attraction I have currently for sense gratification, Che Mata Priti Hoye Charane Tumar, let that be diminished and let my attraction to your lotus feet increase. Whatever attraction I have today for sense gratification, let that be transferred. Let that attraction be transferred to your lotus feet. This is where the bhajan stopped, but there are two more verses. Vipade sampade taha thakuk samabhave dine dine vidhi hoye namera prabhave. In danger or success, vipade sampade, good fortune or disaster, let me remain equipoised, equanimous, and let my affection for you increase day by day. Dine dine vriddhi ho namera prabhave. By the influence of the holy name, let my affection for you increase day by day. Wow. Pashi pakshi hoye thaki swarga va niraye. Whether I'm a bird or a beast, or I'm in the heavenly planets or in the hellish planets, niraye. Tava bhakti rahu bhakti vinod hridaye. Whether I live as a bird or a beast in heaven or in hell, let the humble Bhakti Vinod always cherish Bhakti in his heart of hearts. Based on how Bada Haridas sings this song, this is based on Raga Bhairavi in Teen Tal. Bada Hari Prabhu. So it's quite amazing. I love this bhajan. So we'll pause there. So we'll continue with Caitanya Bhagavat. We'll switch gears again, Caitanya Bhagavat a little bit. So again, Caitanya Bhagavat also where we left off, I believe, last time. Yeah. It's Madhya Lila chapter, last chapter. Sachi Devi is Mahaprabhu is pacifying Sachi Devi. Then last paragraph. Sachi Devi spoke on, unable to calm herself. The Lord still remained silently listening. So he's ready to leave. But Nilachala, she felt drained out, rampaged by the storm of grief. Food and sleep were to her now a curse. The Lord, seeing his mother's condition, revealed to her some secrets that might pacify her. He said, Mother, please calm yourself and listen. I have been your son since many births. You were once Prishni and I was your son. Again, you became Aditi in another life and you were residing then in the heavenly planets and I became your son Vamana. Then once again, I became your son Kapila when you were Devahuti. When you were Kaushalya, I was your son Rama. Another time you were Devaki in Mathura, imprisoned in the dungeons of the cruel King Kamsa, and I became your son Krishna. In this present incarnation, I will be your son twice. You will be the mother of my incarnation as a deity form, and also the mother of my incarnation as the holy name. So thrice his mother, and then 2 times over. Mother, like this, you have made me your son eternally. I can never leave you, Mother. I reveal this to you very confidentially. Now, Mother, please allay your fears and grief. Sachi Devi, on hearing this esoteric narration, was somehow calmed. Sri Krishna Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda are my life and soul. I, Vrindavan Das, humbly offer this song at the lotus feet. Antya Lila, chapter 1. Continuing Vrindavan Das Thakur. I worship the 2 brothers, Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda. They are the most magnanimous Supreme Lords, transcendentally situated and embodying inconceivable spiritual potency. These 2 supreme controllers have now appeared on this earth in their eternal forms. O Lord, I offer my repeated obeisances at your lotus feet. You are the supreme absolute truth, omniscient of the past, present, and future. You have now appeared as the son of Sri Jagannath Mishra. I also offer my fallen obeisances at the feet of all your devotee servitors, who are your sons, Goswamis in the renounced order of life, for the congregational chanting of the holy name, which you fathered and propagate. Your consorts, according to apparent analysis, Vishnu Priya, who is the Bhudevi potency, Lakshmi Priya, who is the Sri Devi potency, and Navadvip Farm, which is Lila or Neela or Durga potency. According to the consideration of Mellow, these spiritual potencies are represented by Gatadhar, Narahari, Ramananda, Jagadananda, and so on. Anyway, this is all esoteric. Davaldas Thakur. Mhm. All glories to Sri Krishna Chaitanya, the beloved Lord of Lakshmi Devi, the goddess of fortune. Lord Nityananda is very dear to him. All glories to the Lord of Vaikuntha and the best among all the sannyasis. All glories to his illustrious devotees. Lord Gaurachandra is the friend of the fallen souls. Please place your lotus feet on the throne of my heart. Please hear attentively the topics described in the Antya Lila dealing with the Lord's activities after taking sannyas and his traveling to Jagannath Puri, Antya Lila. The night of his sannyas initiation, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu remained in Katwa. Immediately after the completion of the sannyas ceremony, the Lord instructed, I think we read all this perhaps, no? Radha Desh, etc. going. Yeah, I think we read this. 1 second, let's see. Or was it from Chaitanya Mangala? I'm confused now. Anybody remember? Okay, anyway, no. Anchalila chapter 1. The night of his sannyas initiation, Lord Chaitanya remained in Katwa. Immediately after the completion of the sannyas ceremonies, the Lord instructed Mukunda to sing. He stood up and began to dance vigorously. The devotees encircled him and joined in the chorus. The Lord was immediately overcome with ecstasy. As he danced, the Lord experienced heavy breathing, laughter, perspiration, shivering, horripilation, and roaring. I think we read this, but that's all right. Then, with a voice like thunder or the roaring of 1,000 lions, he crashed to the ground. The impact of his fall sent shock waves amongst the spectators. The kamandalu flew out of his hand to one side, and the sannyas staff went in another direction. The Lord became enraptured and maddened with love for himself. Dancing and swirling, he went to his guru and embraced him with glowing pleasure. In the Lord's merciful embrace, Keshav Bharati was enlightened with love of God. He began to dance, singing and pirouetting ecstatically. His kamandalu and danda flew from his grip. He became oblivious to the external world and intoxicated with divine love. He rolled on the ground, unaware of that his clothes no longer covered his body. The Lord was pleased to see Keshava Bharati in such an ecstasy. They danced together, putting the devotees into fits of ecstasy. The devotees appreciated this rare sight with vociferous chanting of the holy name. I offer my obeisances at the feet of Keshava Bharati, the most stalwart sannyasi, but he danced with the Supreme Lord, who is difficult to meet even for the personified Vedas. He is the Guru of the Lord of the entire endless creation. That night, the night flitted by as the Guru and his disciple danced together. At dawn, the Lord begged leave of his Guru, saying, I will enter the forest, and there I will find the Lord of my heart, Krishna Chandra. His Guru replied, I will accompany you and relive with you the ecstasy of Sankirtan. The Lord benedicted his Guru and allowed him to come with him, requesting him to walk in the front while he followed behind. Mahajanayana Kataha Sabantha. As the Lord was preparing to leave, he embraced Chandrasekhar Acharya and began to cry loudly. Lord Chaitanya said, please return home to all the Vaishnavas and tell them that I have left for the forest. Please go back without the slightest remorse. I am always imprisoned in your heart. You are my father and I your son. You are my eternal associate. The Lord then left. Chandrasekhar Acharya was overpowered by strong emotions and fell unconscious. No one can understand the Lord's inconceivable potency, and therefore even the unbearable pain of separation can keep a person alive. After some time, when he regained consciousness, Chandrasekhar Acharya left for Navadvip. He informed everyone in Navadvip that the Lord had entered the forest wearing his sannyas robe. This news deeply pained all the devotees, and they cried out in the excruciation of separation. The devastating effect of the news was widespread and intense. Dvaita Acharya, numbed with grief, cried, "I cannot live," and fell unconscious. The heartrending cries of the devotees could have melted the most cruel heart. Sachi Devi stood motionless like a wooden doll in stony silence, shocked by the news. The other ladies fell to the ground, wailing piteously. Advaita Acharya, regaining consciousness, exclaimed, "What further use do I have for this life now that my Lord has gone away? I will throw myself into the Ganga, and if you restrain me, I shall do it in the darkness of night." The throbbing pain of separation rendered everyone restless and gloomy. They felt sick, uneasy, and ready to finish their lives. Although most of them were brave and learned persons, now they were anxious, their minds in turmoil. As the devotees were preparing to end their lives in their unbearable miseries, suddenly a heavenly voice caught their attention. "O Advaita Acharya and all the devotees, do not be sad. Go worship Krishna happily. Your Lord and Master will return in a few days and be amongst you again. Give up your resolve to take your own lives, because you can be with the Lord just as before." Hearing this heavenly message, the devotees forgot about giving up their lives and sat around Sachi Devi singing the Lord's glories. Yeah, we read all this. Yeah, Vakreshwara and all that, right? Now I remember. Okay, so anyway, so we read all this. So I'm going to skip this. Mahaprabhu goes towards Radha Desh. The Lord delivers the residents of Radha Desh. The Lord said, "I want to stay in the forest where the Vakreshwara deity is. It is quiet and lonely there." The Lord then continued on his way, accompanied by his followers, dancing and singing ecstatically. The local residents ran out to see the Lord and his wonderful dancing. Although Sankirtan had never been performed in that area before and no one had even seen the effects of Krishna Prema manifest in a devotee, now they were offering obeisances to the Lord as he danced and wept in ecstasy. This was a rare experience for them. Among them were a few fallen sinners who asked, "Why is he crying so much?" But even these fallen souls were affected by the scene, and by the Lord's mercy, they began to roll on the ground crying. The entire universe was now echoing the Lord's name, yet there remained a few who refused to chant. Anyone who is against the chanting of the Lord's name is indeed the worst kind of sinner. Finally, at the end of the day, the Lord with all his followers came to a village and spent the night in a pious Brahmana's house. The Lord took his meal and went to sleep. The devotees slept all around the Lord. Just a few hours before dawn, Lord Chaitanya stole away quietly from the rest of the devotees and left for an unknown destination. When the devotees awoke early next morning, they found the Lord missing. Again, they were swept with waves of despair and melancholy and began to weep bitterly. They searched for him and everywhere, inquiring from everyone in the village. But to no avail, they left the roads and paths, went into the field. Yeah, we heard this. Lord Gauranga was chanting loudly, and then they were able to reunite with him. When they were only 8 miles from Vakreshwar, the Lord decided to change direction. He turned around and went east, still absorbed in the ecstasy of chanting. He was blissful and laughing to himself. Finally, he revealed the mystery behind his laughter and change of direction. He said, "I'm going to Nilachala, Puri, because Lord Jagannath has instructed me. You should come to Puri immediately." The devotees were relieved to learn of the Lord's plan. No one can know the workings of the Lord's mind save his intimate devotees, and then only by his mercy can they know his inner desires. Who can fathom why the Lord was first going to Vakreshwara and then why finally he did not go? It seems that the Lord, in a deceptive way, was purifying the residents of the district Radha by his presence. There was no other reason for him going to Radha. So this is important. Always the devotees say, "Who can understand the Lord? Who can understand the Lord?" But the devotees explain the Lord's mission. So the devotees can understand to the degree the Lord reveals it to them. So now the Lord is going towards Puri. Yeah, I think we stopped here. The Lord now journeyed towards the Ganga, which lay at a distance. He was always engrossed in the ecstasy of love of God. Yet he saw that the residents of the tract of land through which he was passing were disinterested and devotional life. No one chanted Krishna's name. Krishna Kirtan was alien to them. Pain, the Lord said, why did I come to such a country where they never chant Krishna's holy name? It was a grievous mistake for which I must relinquish my life. And he's saying, well, the Navadvip was great. Why did I leave the devotees? Why did I come to such a country where they never chant Krishna's holy name? Prabhupada came to the West. It was a grievous mistake for which I must relinquish my life. Just then, a group of little covered boys who were grazing their cows passed by. One of them was a very pious boy, and he suddenly began chanting Krishna's name. If you remember, Chaitanya Mangala described it a little differently. Lord Nityananda, he entered the cowherd boys' hearts and then he began to chant. Anyway, either way, the Lord was extremely happy to hear the holy name from the mouth of this little boy. Joyfully, he relished the moment and said, the last few days I passed through many villages and nowhere was Krishna's name being chanted. Suddenly now, out of the blue, a young lad is chanting the holy name. Tell me, what could be the reason? The Lord spoke again. How far is the Ganga from here? The devotees replied, about an hour's walk. The Lord continued, this is the greatness of Mother Ganga. Due to her influence, one hears the chanting of Krishna's name here. The breezes from the Ganga have glorified this place. Glorifying Ganga Devi in this manner, the Lord increased everyone's reverence towards her. The Lord spoke again, I will cleanse myself completely in the Ganga today. And again he started on his journey. The Lord walked with the pace and grace of a maddened lion. The devotees ran to catch up with him. The Lord's eagerness to see Ganga Devi quickened his steps, and the devotees found it impossible to keep up with him. Only Lord Nityananda, also walking like a lion, accompanied him. They reached the banks of Ganga Devi early in the morning. Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda entered her waters with relish and thoroughly washed themselves, profusely praising the Ganga with selected verses. They drank her cooling waters and offered obeisances to her. The Lord prayed, O Ganga Devi, your waters are the ambrosia of love of Godhead. Lord Shiva is conversant with the truth about you. Such is your potency that the mere utterance of your name invokes devotional service to the Supreme Lord. And the result of drinking your water is miraculous. By your mercy, the living entities acquire a taste for chanting Krishna's holy name. Because of your influence, even the wild beasts and birds that live close to your waters become more fortunate than wealthy men who live far away from you. No one is more potent than yourself in purifying sins. In fact, you have descended to this material plane only to alleviate the sins of the living entities. As the Lord glorified Ganga Devi in this manner, she became bashful. That Supreme Lord, whose feet are the source of Ganga Devi, was now eulogizing her. How wonderful was the incarnation of the Supreme Godhead in the form of Lord Chaitanya. One who hears these verses in praise of Ganga Devi with faith, Haribo will certainly develop attachment for Lord Chaitanya. That night, Lord and Nityananda Prabhu stayed in righteous Brahmana's house. The next day, the rest of the devotees arrived and found Lord Chaitanya. Together, they again proceeded towards Nilachala Puri. Lord Chaitanya said to Nityananda Prabhu, my dear magnanimous Prabhu, Nityananda, you must immediately leave for Navadvip. Srivas Pandit and the other devotees are grievously afflicted due to my departure. You must alleviate their pain. Take this message from me to them that on my way to Nilachala, I will be waiting for them in Santipura, in the house of Advaita Acharya. You bring them right away. I am going to Fulia to see Haridas, sending up Nityananda. Lord Chaitanya headed for the village of Fulia. Yeah, this is very amazing. Actually, Mahaprabhu comes back and he delivers all the sinners after his sannyas. Gopal Chakravarti, Gopal Chapal, etc. Having received his orders from Lord Chaitanya, Nityananda Prabhu journeyed towards Fulia in exaltation. Lord Nityananda is always absorbed in the bliss of love of Godhead, his voice booming like thunder in ecstasy. Now he traveled almost like a maddened elephant, oblivious of everything around him. No rules or taboos restricting his actions. Okay, I think we'll pause here. Ecstatic, page 221, Lord Nityananda. So we backtracked. Chaitanya Mangala, Mahaprabhu is already leaving for Puri. In Caitanya Bhagavat here, after having visited Santipura in Chaitanya Mangala. So here we are a little behind. Mahaprabhu is going from Radhadesh, etc., to Shantipur and then on to Puri. So we'll read this tomorrow. Okay, thank you all for joining. Hare Krishna. Any questions, comments, discussion? Amazing.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Guru. When I was hearing those prayers, where Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, is praying that please reduce my attachment to material things and then increase my attachment to Krishna. I was realizing how difficult it is to do that by our own effort, because the detachment is although we think that although I think that I have some detachment, but it's really at the subtle level, it is there, and it really doesn't happen the way it should. So I was while you were reading, and how more and more detachment and more attachment to Krishna. Because attachment to Krishna will automatically give detachment, and for both, mercy is required. I find. So that prayer is an essential part of my sadhana, that my attachment to Krishna should increase. Vasudeva Bhagavate Bhakti Yoga Prayojita Janayati Asu Vairagyam. So I think this prayer should be an important part of my sadhana all the time. So that's what I was saying. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, it's a beautiful bhajan. Sikshashtakam verse 4. Further elaboration by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. He has written bhajans, many bhajans on each of the verses of Sikshashtakam. Yeah, it's quite amazing. So first verse, for example, Chetotarpana Marshanam. Bhaktivinoda Thakur has written a few bhajans on that verse. Then the second verse of that. And he's empowered. They're all perfected souls.
Yeah, Maharaj explains it is not that Bhaktivinoda Thakur needs any, he is detached completely, but it is for our sake that he is writing, giving that message, that to really develop that kind of an attachment. He is a perfected soul.
Yeah. Thank you. Anything else? Anyone? Satya, Sita learned this bhajan.
No, Prabhuji, I heard.
Say that again?
What, Prabhuji?
I'm saying learn the bhajan. Prabhu Tava Pada Yuga.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Anything else?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, please accept my humble obeisances. Prabhu, regarding this Ganga Mata, I just wanted to read a few lines from Bhagavatam. There is one verse in the 4th canto. So, 4th Canto, 21st chapter, 31st verse. In India, one can actually see that a person who takes a bath in the Ganges waters daily is almost free from all kinds of diseases. A very respectable Brahmana in Calcutta never took a doctor's medicine. Even though he sometimes felt sick, he would not accept medicine from the physician, but would simply drink Ganges water, and he was always cured within a very short time. The glories of Ganges water are known to Indians and to ourselves also. Yes, bro, this is a very long purport, but just wanted to add.
No. Yeah.
I also remember reading, Prabhu, as on the Ganges water, that some of the pious kings who were there in India after the British came also, and when they would go to London to attend some conference with the queen or king or whatever, they used to carry Ganges water along with them in huge, vessels on the ship. And they would not drink any other water except Ganges water. And so it's very, very amazing, really.
Mm. Yeah, correct. And so Bharatvarsha, that's the glories of Bharatvarsha. All these holy rivers are there, different parts of India. Ganga, Yamuna, Narmada, Sindhu, Kaveri, Godavari. Yeah, there's also the verse in Gita Mahatmya about Ganga, right? And the Bhagavad Gita. Yeah. Yeah. Ganga, it emanated from the lotus feet of Krishna. Bhagavad Gita from the lotus mouth. So the Bhagavad Gita teachings of Bhagavad Gita are even more potent. One may take bath daily in Ganga, but if one takes bath daily in the teachings of Bhagavad Gita, anyway, not minimizing the potency of Ganga, but yeah, amazing. Yeah, unfortunately, yeah, I think the pristine, the clean water of Ganga hopefully is still flowing somewhere in the Himalayas and all that area. But it's also polluted in many places. But even then, anyway, Ganga, even Upadeshamrita, right? Gange Vaugham Mudanvati. Ganga. Rupa Goswami talks about that. There may be some foam and bubbles and it might look dirty, Ganga, but it's always remains pure. And my sense, I remember something also, just like how these scientists, they studied all this, they studied the effects of cow dung, that how it has prophylactic properties, etc., how it is purifying. Something about Ganga also, I think, perhaps the water. Some study was done like that, I think. Anyway. Anything else? Thank you, Rama Priya and Bhakti. And Vishwamitra is telling all these things to, all these histories are there, right? When he's taking Lord Ramachandra to kill the demons, Tataka and all, he's educating them. This is all in Ramayana. Maharaj covered. That's when Ramana Yatra and all, this whole appearance of Ganga and Bhagirathi and all that, the whole history, because Vishwamitra was narrating it, Lord Rama. Okay, anything else? Otherwise, we'll end. Shivaram, Pratibha, Krishna, Niyati, Mataji, Nival, Ritu, Satya. Are your exams over, Satya? What's going on? Are your final exams? Just getting started?
No, the final exams will start in a month. Prabhu.
Hmm?
The mock exams were done.
Mock exams are going on.
Mock exams finished. The finals ones will start in a month.
In a month.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you all for joining. We will continue tomorrow. Hare Krishna. Please accept my meditation.